Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Gebo the Shaman, and today we're talking about the Atmakaraka in your 4th house. So this is the video on your soul significator in the 4th house. So the way we determine the Atmakaraka is we look at our chart and we see what's the highest degree, what's the planet with the highest degree. So that could be Sun, Moon, Jupiter, whatever. So it really depends on your chart and the planet with the highest degree longitude. So in Vedic astrology, we have, typically signs that go from 0 degrees to 30 degrees long, and it's that's for every sign. So we have an equal house system. So your Atmakaraka, the planet with the highest degree, it can vary, but like if it's close to 29 degrees or like as close as possible to that, you know that that's the correct planet. You can also use different Vedic astrology software and things like that to determine this. You can also get a reading down below at gebotheshaman.com because I am the best astrologer. So give your boy some love by purchasing a reading and all that good stuff. So, um, and all the extra services, and even my book, Tantric Secrets of Vedic Astrology, and all that good stuff. All right, so the Atmakaraka in the 4th house. So, what is the Atmakaraka? Well, I already told you it's the planet with the highest degrees, but the Atmakaraka has a special significant meaning in your chart. The Atmakaraka is the soul significator. We get that from the word Atmakaraka. So that literally means Atma is soul and Karaka is significator. Just like Yoga Karaka. Karaka is significator. Yoga is union. Anyway, I won't get into that. That's a video for another time. But basically that's what it means is this is the planet that is responsible for your soul. Like it's a significator of your soul, meaning that it's a significator of the things that you love, that bring you joy, that bring you happiness and things like that. So yeah, there it shows a great talent in these areas. Whatever house and sign it's placed in shows that you'll be talented in that area, or like have some special gift in that area. But also, another thing with the Atmakarka is that it is also your greatest strength, but it's also your greatest weakness. It wants to teach you a lesson. For example, Sun. The lesson there is, you know, uh, treat others with respect. Treat others how you would want to be treated. For the Moon, it's like reach out to embrace the world as your family, and not just like your family being you against the world kind of thing. So anyway, uh, so if we have our Atmakarka in the 4th house, what is the 4th house all about? The 4th house signifies our home, our family, our intimate relationships, our private life, as opposed to the 10th house being our public life, reputation, and all that. Um, the 4th house is land, it's real estate, it's our home. It's our home life, our family, it's our mother. The 4th house definitely represents the mother, your mother, and your relationship with your mother. So your Yogakarka being in the 4th house automatically signifies that your mother, there's a strong um, effect that your mother might have had on your life, or it also shows its strong desire to be like secure, to be safe, to be at home, to be in the comfort of your own home, and things like that. So it shows nurturing, it shows love, it shows affection, things like that. So, um, you might have a strong desire to have a family, to have a to have kids and all that good stuff. Maybe that's you. Again, guys, like these things can change depending on other planets and other placements in your chart. Like if you have Saturn in the fifth or something like that, that denotes that you don't want to have children, or it's going to be taking a long time to have children or things like that. Um, so with the Atmakaraka in the fourth house, these things you'll see these things kind of taking place. So let's go through each planet and talk about each planet as the Atmakaraka in your fourth house. All right, first we have the sun. The sun in the fourth house shows this is the natural Atmakaraka. The natural Atmakaraka is the sun, so if you have the sun as your Atmakaraka, that's a really positive thing. Any planet as your Atmakaraka can be positive, can work in your favor. However, the sun is it's extremely beneficial as the Atmakaraka. Because there's going to be this confidence in letting your light shine and being yourself and staying true to your soul. So, sun in the fourth house. Let's see. So, there's a strong, there's a strong possibility that you'll want to be like the leader of your home. You'll want to be in charge. You'll want to be the homeowner and the head of the household. So this shows a strong leadership ability within your family, within your home relationships and things like that. It shows leadership. It shows maybe that you are good with your emotions. Like you can talk about your emotions and things like that, depending on again the sign that's here. Fourth house naturally represents home, emotions, love, nurturing, compassion, things like that. Again, it could change depending on the sign that's here. So if you had like Scorpio or something like that, or Aries, things like that, that would change the dynamic of this energy. So, Sun is in the fourth house. Sun wants to express his emotions. He wants to express his feelings. He wants to, love and give warmth to his family. He wants to provide for them and take care of them. So there'd be this strong desire to, take care of your family, like to, go out and like sun aspect in the 10th house says go out there and make some money and earn, make $1 million so that your family doesn't have to suffer or worry about money or things like that. So that's kind of the drive of this sun here. So sun in the fourth house, it almost dries up your relationship with your mother. It's like there's like you would be very loving towards your family and things like that. However, it does show maybe your ego can get in the way with your family. That's another side effect of that. But maybe also your relationship with your mother may have been just kind of authoritarian. Like your mother might have been like an authority figure, and like might have been. I mean, she automatically is as a parent, but she might have abused her authority, or just might have not felt as warm, like nurturing, compassionate, loving. Those things might have not been there as much, so that could be a possibility. Um, and yeah, so I mean that's pretty much Sun in the fourth house has the Atmakaraka. So this shows, like talking about your talents and things like that. This can show somebody who is very willing to be vulnerable, because it takes the closeness of the fourth house. You know, that's intimate, that's private, and it kind of blasts it with the sun's light out to the world. So it kind of shows this maybe lack of boundaries, maybe lack of like, okay, I'm gonna not share this with the world, but this is okay. Like parts of this, or like reframing, maybe not sharing like the whole, like everything that you have to share with society, but maybe sharing like a piece of it as a general part of information. So like this is pretty common, or like there can be pretty like extremes. Like either people are like you know oversharing, or like telling us too much information, but then oftentimes like you also see people shut down, like they don't want to let us in at all, they don't want to tell us any information. So uh, or like let us into their lives at all. So that's another thing to consider. Are you being too vulnerable? Are you letting your light shine too being too vulnerable? Yeah. So anyway, that it does show a talent in, um like you could be a great counselor. You could be a great therapist, a counselor, psychologist, things like that. Or it's like kind of giving that motherly like nurturing to people. And again, like sun is a significator of career, so you have that. All right, let's talk about moon as the Atmakarka in the fourth house. The moon is the natural ruler of the fourth house. Again, that depends on the sign that's placed here, but naturally, the moon goes with the fourth house. So, essentially, these two are pretty much synced up together. Like the moon is the mother, the moon is the emotions. The moon wants to connect with like family, have like intimate like connections, uh, emotionally intimate, um, things like that. So it shows that also like your relationship with your family can be kind of ups and downs, unstable maybe, or like maybe there's a like the communication with your family might be like up and down, or like maybe you go like 3 months without talking to them, and then the next 3 months it's like you talk to them every day kind of thing. So there can be this wax and wane in communication with your family, and with your mother especially. So moon in the fourth house as the Atmakarka, this shows a great capacity to actually be in tune with your emotions, to to know how you're feeling. The sun, as I said, wants to blast and express the emotions to other people. That could be positive or negative. It could be, a loving blast of energy, or it could be an angry blast of energy. The moon, however, wants to kind of it's kind of wanting to absorb the love from the family, absorb the light and the love from the family, but it's also wanting to like give that out too, because what does the moon do? It reflects like the light of the soul. So the moon as the Atmakaraka is reflecting your innate goodness, your innate, like the soul, what you want to do. So if the here's a remedy. If the moon is your Atmakaraka, meditate and do mantras. Do mantras to Vishnu or to what is the moon? Yeah, I think Vishnu, or any deity of your choosing. But yeah, that meditation is just a great way to connect with yourself. So again, you could be one of those people who makes a great counselor or therapist, and yeah, so it's a great opportunity there. Um, and again, with that axis 410, the moon is aspecting your 10th house, so that's you got to do what makes your soul happy, or else it's going to affect your mind and emotions and things like that. So that goes for everybody, but especially for the moon as your Atmakaraka in the 4th house. All right, so then we'll go on to Mars. So if Mars is your Atmakaraka in the 4th house, it's kind of in a weird place for itself. Mars wants to be in the 1st house or in the 8th house or 10th house. Those are good places for him. So yeah, it's Mars is in the 4th house. That means that he's going to be in touch with his emotions. So typically Mars is the stoic warrior. He's stoic. He has no emotions. Or like, his emotions are contained, basically. However, in the 4th house, it's like, okay, he's like an emotional warrior. Not only is he fighting for what's right, but he's fighting for, justice and things like that. So, with Mars as the Atmakaraka, it shows that you might have some lessons to learn when it comes to like emotional outbursts and things like that. So Mars can be overly aggressive. He wants to go to war. He wants to fight. He wants to stab. He wants to kill and things like that. So that's what Mars wants to do. And the 4th house, it's family. It is your mother. It's things like that. So what I can tell you about that is that your mother might have been very masculine, might have been very aggressive, might have been uh, angry, rude. She might have been obsessed with her career and making achievements in that regard rather than being home. Because Mars would much rather be in the 10th house than it would in the 4th. So, but this can also, like, since you didn't get that emotional nurturing and love from your mother, this can really make you angry and leave a bad taste in your mouth. And it's easy to become nihilistic and jaded with this one. So, and ask me how I know. Mars in Cancer in the 10th house. So, it's really hard to actually get, like, the, anyway, sorry. Mars in the 10th house, 4th house. A lot of your anger, there's a lot of unconscious anger there. So what I would recommend for unconscious anger is, or maybe it's even conscious, who knows? But what I would recommend is doing a 4th step inventory. You can just Google that. You'll find it in AA. You'll find it in Codependence Anonymous. You'll find it in different 12-step programs. But you can just Google it and you'll find the 4th step worksheet, and you can work through that. Work through your emotions and all that stuff. Write down your resentments. So it'll be called a 4th step resentment inventory. That's what it's called. So, this can signify a lot of trauma in your childhood and things like that, like abuse, childhood neglect, child abuse, child neglect, trauma, PTSD, things like that, all brought on upon you by your mother and by your family, by your parents. So if you have Mars in the 4th as your Atmakaraka, your mission in this world is to defeat that. If you've experienced childhood trauma and, all the things that I talked about, your Mars is in the 4th house, your mission now, your soul mission, is to process and heal those childhood wounds. Because basically that's what Mars in the 4th house is. It's emotional wounds. It's like, think of the 4th house as your heart. You have Mars, this pokey, spiny thing, wound within your heart. So the job is to heal that and to get Mars to be productive for you. Mars can either really hurt you, but you can also use Mars to set up boundaries and defend yourself. So, again, 12 steps, Codependence Anonymous, been very helpful for myself for working through those childhood wounds and things like that. All right, so your gift here, the hidden gift that you have is actually fighting to protect your family, because Mars can be very protective and it's in the 4th house. It means that you have a lot of protective energy for your family, for your children, for your wife, husband, things like that. So use that energy to protect your family. And, you'll be kind of like the general, the warrior in your family, the one who, provides and looks out for your family, things like that. So, yeah, use that. And then we have Mercury, I think. Check. Yeah, Mercury. So if your Mercury is in the fourth house as your Atmakaraka, then we have the planet of communication in the house of emotions. So this will be great, communicating about your feelings and emotions with your family. Your mother might have been very comedic, very funny, very like happy-go-lucky kind of thing, happy-go-lucky kind of thing. And so this gives like a joyful kind of comedic energy to your fourth house, your home. So, you might be like the center of attention, telling jokes to your family, or like playing pranks on your family, or things like that. um, you know, um, so it really does give like a good communication with family, with your mother, and your mother might have been very good with her communication towards you. It, of course, this depends on other factors, but yeah. Also, your mother might have been very intellectual, very smart, very um, like just very very smart. So yeah, she might have been even like maybe a teacher, or just like a professional kind of thing. Where she was very good at her job and stuff like that. So yeah, that could have been the case. But for you, your special ability and talent is that you can communicate your feelings. You can put them into you, you, you have a good vocabulary, smart. You're very smart, very good with your like vocabulary and things like that. Like it shows like a lot of good. You know, a lot of people a lot of people don't have the vocabulary to express their feelings. However, you can do this very easily. It's probably, you probably have some skill and like, you know, written poetry, expressing feelings in poetry, and even like songwriting and things like that, like putting the words in there, like making them making them rhyme, and also conveying the right feelings that you want to express and things like that. So yeah. Um so then we have what else? Sorry. I'm like looking at my phone to figure out the planets. Alright, so Jupiter. So after Mercury is Jupiter. So Jupiter, um, you know, if you have Jupiter in your fourth house as your Atmakaraka, that means that um you like it's a really interesting one here. Your mother could have been your teacher. Like, I, I mean that literally. Like, you go to school and your mother's literally like your teacher, but also figuratively. Like, um, I she might have taught you some very good lessons, very smart lessons. It shows some wisdom from your mother. Shows that like, even if she spanked you or whatever, like there was some wisdom. There was a good reason for that. um, uh, so, unlike Mars, where it's like a abusive family and whatever, Jupiter is like the wise mother who kind of like disciplines you to be, you know, wise, basically. So you could have gotten some very good life lessons from your mother, and so yeah, that's kind of how that goes. And then as far as your own like talents and abilities, you know, Jupiter is all about spirituality, all about, you know, philosophy, religion, spirituality, like higher education, higher learning. You may have even been homeschooled with Jupiter in your fourth house. That shows you could have been homeschooled. You know, where it's like your mother is your teacher kind of thing. Even if you're like, so yeah, it shows that you might have been homeschooled. It shows that you might have been like, uh, your family might have been very smart, very intellectual, very, had a lot of, good smarts and things like that. Um, of course, you want to look at your second house as well to see specifics and fourth house sign, things like that. But yeah. Um, trying to think. So, like, your talent for Jupiter being your Atmakaraka is that you have the ability to get to the root of things. You have the ability to, since Jupiter is the guru, the root, and fourth house is the emotions and mother, like it has to do with emotions and nurturing and things like that. You can get to the root of your emotions. It shows a profound ability to really know on the deepest level what you're thinking or what you're feeling. Not thinking, you can discard that. What you're feeling, because a lot of people, they have very a lot of stuff in their unconscious that they're not aware of. Unconscious means literally not conscious, not conscious. So, when we have this, it's hard to know what we're feeling and things like that. But with Jupiter in the fourth house, it shows you it might not be easy right away. The underlying motivations for your behaviors or like underlying feelings and things like that it might take some work to work at, but you can pretty well discover the underlying cause of your emotions, and not only that, you can also figure out why other people feel the way they do, or like they maybe dig into their subconscious or unconscious mind, and you know, you could make a very good counselor or a very good therapist or things like that. Even a teacher that like teaches about mental health stuff, how to like practically heal, like help your mental health and things like that. So yeah, could be. All right. So then I believe we have Saturn. So let me pull that up. Oh, Venus. So if you have Venus in your fourth house, as your Atmakaraka, shows that uh, you can basically convey your emotions through art, through artistic means. Whether you convey an emotion through a painting or through, singing and songwriting and things like that, or but whether it's through acting, acting, being in touch with your emotions through acting and things like that. Whether that's, painting, songwriting, even music playing, like the type of music that you play, even denotes like emotional context. So yeah, you have the ability to really make something beautiful, even out of your hardest emotions, like even out of your most negative of emotions. Um, there's a song right now that's going popular because so many people resonate with it, and that is, Richmond, north of Richmond. Um, reason why people resonate so much with it was because um, Oliver Anthony was basically speaking from his own heart and like, talking about his own experiences and just the things that he sees in society, and it's like, yeah, other people can relate with that and resonate with that because that's a common thing with humanity. So the more that you're able to tap into your emotions and things like that, is the more that you can express them in a beautiful way. So, and once you do that, once you take that leap of expressing yourself through art or whatever, you can see how many people resonate with you by, when you put that out there. What Venus wants to do is kind of reach out to people and kind of develop this sense of community and common humanity and things like that. So yeah. So then we have Saturn, and Saturn in the fourth house as the Atmakaraka. Your mother could have been very strict, very disciplined, very disciplinarian, and yeah. So there's a lot of strictness and like heaviness and things like that to this. So, um, you know, it's kind of anywhere that Saturn is placed is a hard placement. It's just true. Saturn in your fourth house, it shows that you have some karma to burn with your family, with your mother. Uh, the strict the strict nature of your family and your mother and your home life it might have felt like work to be home. You might not have been wanted to be home. You might have wanted to stay at school or whatever. But yeah, it's like it shows, especially if you have any other like malefic planets with this or aspecting it, it can show, some abuse or neglect or things like that, which is very saddening. But that's kind of what happens with these kind of things. So, um, so it shows a hardness towards your emotions. it shows like, you know, the phrase like men can't cry or men can't have feelings or whatever. It's kind of that feeling of this placement. Saturn puts a limit on your emotional expression, on even feeling emotions. So, you know, it's hard. Um, there's a strong propensity to be depressed and to be, you know, in that lower emotional state because of Saturn here. Now, if your Saturn has any relation to, like I said, a malefic planet or the moon, if Saturn is aspecting or with the moon here, it can be really hard on the emotions. You know, either during your Saturn dasha or moon dasha, your mother can have like sickness or illness or things like that. Um, it shows a strained relationship with your family. Like maybe your family is full of professionals, like, you know, professional people, and it just shows that like your needs were not met. It shows a delay in gratification, a delay in nourishment. Like it's almost, this is like one of the worst placements. But it also shows karma. It also shows that this is a huge issue in your life, not getting the love and nourishment and attention and affection and love that you needed as a child. However, it is now incumbent upon you as a grown adult to take care of yourself, love yourself, nurture yourself. Um, and especially Saturn will lighten up on you, especially if you've had it really rough with your mother and family. He will lighten up on you after the age of 35. If you've had any like Saturn related afflictions in childhood, um, just know that like it's gonna get better once you get older, once you become an adult, and I'm seeing that in my own life. You know, I had it rough as a kid, but now it's like, yeah, I'm starting to see that things are getting better as much as I, you know, tend to think they're not. They are. So, you know, so again, like you know, your mother could have been a professional, like she might have been at work most of the time. Maybe not so much the abuse or neglect, or maybe not so much the abuse, but definitely the neglect might have played into that. You know, with her working a job, she doesn't have time for you. So, and um, the scenario here. So, if you have Saturn in the fourth house as your Atmakaraka, that shows that this context is the main thing that you need to work on in your life. The more attention you pay to your own emotions, to making yourself happy, to filling your own cup first before you go out and fill others. That's it. That's what you need to work on. So that's kind of the message here. And again, I would recommend, you know, going to 12-step groups. Codependence Anonymous is great. Things like that. So, anyway. And then we have Rahu. So if Rahu is your Atmakaraka in the 4th house, then Rahu can be very, very much a homebody. He might just want to like stay in his pajamas all day and just kind of veg out and watch TV, eat cereal and just kind of veg out or whatever he's eating. Just kind of stay at home, lounge, eat, whatever, relax. That's kind of what Rahu wants to do in this one. However, if you have this placement, you can be a great real estate agent. You can do really great with real estate. Why? Because fourth house is real estate. So, and same thing with Saturn. If Saturn is in your 4th house, you're probably not going to buy a house for a long time until after the age of 35, and then Saturn will bless you. So yeah, there's going to be a delay there. But with Rahu here as your Atmakaraka, there's like kind of this indulgence of like, oh, I just want to lay around and just kind of do nothing, be with my family, barbecue. We'll barbecue some, steaks, some burgers, some hot dogs, and just kind of lounge and relax and just, all that stuff. So, so Rahu, can very much just enjoy life as a housewife or a house husband or, things like that. He'll try to find a way to do everything that needs to be done in the office from home. So like he'll start his own business. He'll start whatever it is. So instead of going out to the grocery store, he'll order it and just have it delivered. Things like that. So yeah, I mean, it's really, really interesting to have Rahu here. So Rahu is also illusion. It is addiction, it's illusion, it's things like that. So you gotta be careful when buying a home because you can be easily duped into buying something that's not a good deal. You gotta be careful with your family, it's you can be easily manipulated into doing something that maybe isn't your best, isn't for your own good, like maybe you have children or something, or maybe your mother like asks you to do things that are not good for you, to help her, to please her, or whatever, things like that. So yeah, that might be in play here. And then the other thing is just, you know, it's almost like you wanna have a family. You might also be a mama's boy or a mama's girl kind of thing, sticking with your mother, attaching to her, and things like that, not letting her go. That can be indicated here. Um, there's like you might have attachment issues with your family. Um, things like that. So yeah, but it's the good things are that like Rahu can figure out how to do things from home, and there's a strong love for just like being at home and with family and just hanging out. Uh, so yeah. Um, Also, Rahu is for foreign things, so you might pack up and leave and just go to a foreign country or a foreign place and live there. Also, like, it has to do with foreign real estate, things like that. So anyway, guys, that's it for me. I am tired, so we will talk to you next time. I'm going on vacation from the 8th to the 11th, so we'll probably see you on the 12th. So we'll talk to you next time. Peace. Take care, guys.